We're up all night to get lucky. 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 We're up all night to get lucky.
All right, if everyone could please take their seats. I would like to invite Jerry Jean Brandstetter up to open today's event with a blessing.
And we could be together, baby, as long as skies are blue.
Please stand.
You act so innocent.
Dear Heavenly Father, as we enter our election debate time, we humbly ask for your guidance and wisdom in selecting our Osage leaders. We ask that you bless our Osage Nation families and see to their needs. Our Osage News for having this event for us, and that we return safely to our homes this evening as we remain your faithful patrons. Amen.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. My name is Brittany Harlow with Crosswinds News and Talking Circle, media partners of Osage News. On behalf of the Osage News Editorial Board, welcome to the Osage News Chief and Assistant Chief Candidate Debates. Thank you to the Pawhuska Village Committee, Osage Nation Tribal Works, and Daily Technologies, who helped make this second day of debates possible. Today is focused on leadership roles that will shape the direction of the Osage Nation for years to come, including the first new principal chief in over a decade. We recognize the commitment it takes to run for office and thank both candidates for being here today. We will begin today with the Assistant Chief Candidates debates. I'd like to call candidates Scott Johnson and John Shaw to the podiums, please. At this time, I will read the rules of the debate. Each candidate will have 2 minutes for an opening statement and 1 minute each for a closing statement. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer each question and 1 minute for rebuttal. The candidate's name, who is first in alphabetical order, will answer the first question, and then so on. The timer, Trista Vaughn, will warn candidates when they have 30 seconds left and will stop a candidate when the time is up. The host moderator will make sure that each candidate takes their turn in answering the question and will also make sure all candidates have a chance for their 1 minute optional rebuttal. The moderator also reserves the right to shorten answer periods for the sake of time. Candidates may choose to pass on their rebuttal. Candidates will be offered time for rebuttals in the same order in which they responded to the question. All answers will remain civil, and candidates will refrain from personal attacks. The moderator reserves the right to disqualify any candidate who cannot adhere to this rule from further debate. We will begin with opening statements. Each candidate will have 2 minutes, and we will go in alphabetical order. Whenever you are ready, Scott Johnson, please begin.
I would like to thank the Osage News, everyone in attendance, and our elders, and all those that are watching online. I may not always be the loudest voice on the floor, and I'm never usually the first one to speak. But I'm always wanting to be the steady voice that you hear. And I'm always here to listen. And I always want to be grounded in what I hear. And I always want to lead by being the one that's watching, seeing what's going on. I want to do something that's watching and leading what's going on in the nation. And I want to lead by that strength, by doing that. Economic growth is a responsibility that we put on our benefits of the people of our nation. It's not what is there for the outside interest, but what's in for us. Workforce investment is for the people that serve our nation. It's for what supports and trains and values that we put on those people. Education for all ages is we put for what depends on what we do for our future people and what's in for the future. These are not just talking points. These are what our foundation of our nation is built on. Water is not the resource, it's life. Sovereignty is our life, our land, and our language, and our culture. It's our everyday decisions that we make. Unity is exactly that. It's when we talk to our nation, our legislature, our executive branch, our minerals council, all of our people. When we talk as a whole, that's what it's about, so that when we talk, we're there as a person.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Opening statement, John Shaw.
Oe dae nikshe. Kahiga owakta. Owakta combra. Kahiga owakta. Kahiga owakta. That I'll do my best. I'll do my best for our Osage people. Awashka damikshe. For those of you who I don't know, my name is John Shaw. I come from Fairfax. I live in the Fairfax area. I come from the Gray Horse Community District. I've been over the years very culturally involved. I'm a former drum keeper of our Gray Horse District. Okay. I've been former drum keeper with my Gray Horse District and our Elonchka dances. I want to first start off by just saying thank you for the opportunity to be here today, because the last few months I have learned more about our Osage Nation. I have learned more about our Osage people. I have met so many people, had the opportunities to visit with you, and it has been very humbling and enjoyable. And I want to start off by saying that, by thanking you all for helping me be here today and having this opportunity. If I have a few things that I want to talk about, that would be, of course, our sovereignty, culture, language, our land, and most of all, communication and togetherness. We've got to come together as one. And here in a little bit, we'll probably have a little bit more opportunity to go into that. But again, just thank you for allowing me to be here today and the opportunities that I've been given.
Thank you. We will now move into questions. We'll start with Mr. Shaw. What is your position on land acquisition and buyback efforts for the Osage Nation, and what factors would guide your decisions?
My thoughts on this is that when I started working, I worked for the 31st Tribal Council, 2002 to 2006. Since that time, 2006 to today, I've been in the gaming side of the Osage Nation. I think it is very important that we continue to try and purchase all land that we can in our area. Very important. Reason being is that continues to make our sovereignty stronger. I think we've got to try to buy back the things that was once ours. Unfortunately, we're having to buy back what was once ours, but I think it's very important that we do that. There was a day that we did not have the money to do this back 20, 25 years ago. We are a little bit stronger in that area, and I think we've got to continue to do as much of the buying back that we can. Remember this, a part of the 1988 National Indian Gaming Regulatory Act. The reason why the federal government gave us the right to have gaming, there were several reasons, and one of them was to buy back your own land that you once owned. So I think that right there tells you enough how important that is as far as how we would do that. How can we need to utilize, we need to do a better job of utilizing the land that we currently have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, same question.
When sovereignty is one of the strongest things that we have is our land. When we go to dealing with the U.S. government or anyone, they come down to it. The land is going to be what makes or breaks us. But we need to make sure that we are acting on the land, and the land that we have, we should be treating it just like we are a ranch. We have 43,000 acre ranch, and the other land that we have, we need to be doing it, managing it just like the ranch. But we do need to buy back all the land that we can, when we can. One of our elders called me a few months ago and told me that we need to make sure that we buy back all the land that we can. The land will go down at some point in time. My own farming experience, we bought back land, we sold land when it was up and when it was down. And I know that will happen again. This nation needs to be ready to do that when that time comes. And we need to make sure, but we need to have a plan to do something with that land. It doesn't need to just be setting. Economic development, we need to have a plan for it. So once that happens, we need to put it to work for the nation. And we need to know what we're going to do with that land, because we have resources out there now that we could be using and doing something with it. So let's make sure that we have the plan and we can do with something with that land and managing it to our ultimate. Maybe all we have to do is tweak it a little bit, but we can get it to a higher level, and that's what we need to do. So let's manage it the best that we can. And I'm not sure what that is because we don't know that. So let's see what we can do. But let's buy back what we can and manage it to the best of our ability. Thank you.
Thank you. Optional 1 minute rebuttal.
I really don't have a rebuttal, except that I just want to again mention that how important this is as far as sovereignty goes. This is an area, sovereignty is going to be an area that in the near future we're going to have to start fighting for. And so more things that we can have to show people who we are and why we're different is going to be very, very, very important. And land is going to be one of those things. So thank you.
Mr. Johnson, rebuttal.
If it comes down to it, the land is going to be all Osage's land. My land, your land, every Osage's land, if it comes down to it, will all count as Osage land, and it'll be counted. And we need to make sure that if we're Osages and we have land and you're a landowner, keep that land. Don't sell it to outside parties, would be my advice to all of us. So keep it, and that would be the best advice.
Thank you. Our second question will go to Mr. Johnson first. What is your record of complying with election rules and deadlines, and how will you ensure accountability in your service as a citizen?
Could you repeat
Yes,
that
sir.
one more time?
What is your record of complying with election rules and deadlines, and how will you ensure accountability in your service as Assistant Chief?
I did beat all the deadlines, and I was, however, I was fined. That wasn't a big surprise. Um, and when I called up there, the information was that I gave you all the information to find me by, because I sent a information that rebutted everything that I got fined for. Because the information that they give us is pretty tough to follow sometimes. And so I thought that we'd followed all the rules. And so I shared why we put it down that way. It was our second try at getting the financials right. And so I explained why we did it the way we did it. And so then I didn't change it, kept it the same on the second try, and that's why we got fined. So then they said I was incorrect on my second one, so we corrected it, paid my fine, and I moved on. We haven't been fined since. So although I tried to explain myself, if I was wrong, I paid my fine and I moved on. So yes, my accountability is if I'm proven wrong, I will correct my mistake and move on.
Mr. Shaw, same question?
Could you repeat that question again, please?
Yes, sir. What is your record of complying with election rules and deadlines, and how will you ensure accountability in your service as Assistant Chief?
I have been fined at least twice, and there may have been a third time. I don't remember off the top of my head. So yes, I have been guilty. We all make mistakes, and I think everyone who knows me knows that I'm willing to admit to any mistake. I paid the fines that needed to be, and we moved on. We've learned, just like I was talking about earlier. This whole thing has been a learning process for myself. This has been a learning process for a lot of the people that are working around me and helping me. So yes, we have made those mistakes. How do I keep myself accountable? Number one, I have a wife that stays on me all the time about everything. So that's the first thing. Second of all, I've just always taken a lot of pride in being honest, upfront with things that I'm involved in. I believe in trying to, I have no problem with sharing information. I have no problem with sharing information not only as in this campaign, but anything that goes on in the casino that I'm general manager at, the Hominy Casino. I'm never afraid of that because in my mind, we haven't done anything wrong. If something is found that's wrong, then you go and you correct it. I tell my employees that all the time. Don't ever be afraid because we're not doing anything wrong. We make mistakes, yes, we all do. But at the same time, we just have to have that opportunity to go back, correct that mistake, and then in the future, you get better at what you're doing. So thank you.
Mr. Johnston, 1 minute rebuttal.
The only thing I want to say is that the election rules are there for everyone, and all we have to do is follow them. I think that we were on the very first one, we kept correcting over mistakes and sending them in. We did not get fined because we were learning. And as long as you're trying your best, you won't get a fine. But I think that when you try to take it out of the hands and quit asking questions, that's when you get fined. But anyway, they're there. We did our best, and we haven't been fined since. So,
Mr. Shaw?
Yes, and I just want to thank the election committee and the staff that is there because they are doing their best and they are handed a problem. They're trying to fix problems from things that have happened in the past and making sure that we don't, again, have problems like we've had. So I appreciate them very much. I do want to say that because I know it's hard for them as well when they have to work with us and we've been fined and we ask questions and they've been very gracious with it. So thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to our third question. One will go to Mr. Shaw. How will you handle with the chief? And how do you define the boundaries of your independence within the branch?
So you before we get started, you asked me how would I, can you repeat that again? Because
Yes,
you went
I
out
cut
twice
out.
on me, and I just want to make sure I got it right. I'm sorry.
No. How will you handle disagreements with the chief? And how do you define the boundaries of your independence within the executive branch?
First of all, you've got to be able to come together. You've got to, whoever the chief is, whoever the assistant chief is, you've got to be able to sit down and talk about things. So very much important. If your two leaders can't do that, then it's just a trickle-down effect that you're going to have a lot of problems. So that's number one. We're going to have to sit down. We're going to have to talk about things. I'm not going to always fully agree with the things that we decide, but it's the ability to take the things that are decided and work with them and try to have buy-in from your employees, buy-in from constituents. So I think that is the most important thing, is we've got to be able to sit down and talk about things and hash those things out. And then when we go before the people, we've got to have that worked out before we present anything. As far as my boundaries go, I feel as if that if elected assistant chief, I am going to be the type of person that is going to bring things up. I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to want to know why we're doing things. But at the same time, again, myself and the chief, we will be a team. Because if we're not, then we will lose that team atmosphere amongst our employees and amongst our constituents. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, same question.
Well, I had the opportunity to do this very thing for 4 years as HR director. And the main thing is when something comes up, go in and you sit down, you lay out the issues at hand, you discuss them in a civil manner, find the common ground, and you talk through those things. So the disagreements don't get big. You work through those disagreements at the start. And you make sure that those disagreements are not disagreements. They are something that you can work through. As far as being independent voices and you work through those boundaries, you know, if you're out there and you're listening to what's going on as far as the Osage Nation and the people that, whenever I was working as the HR manager and the people would want to know what's going on, the employees would talk to me, then that's what I would use when I would be talking to the chief. And that would be the very same thing that I would do as the assistant chief, visiting with the chief, making sure I was discussing what I was being told by the people that I was talking with, whatever that topic was. So it's important that everyone got to hear their voiced back to the chief. And with that would be the boundaries. But when we leave, we had to make sure that that would be the common ground, that would be the common voice leaving. The same voice would be going back to Congress or wherever it would come from, because we have to be united when we leave. Couldn't be separate. So we would have to support the chief when we leave that office. Thank you.
1 minute rebuttal. Mr. Shaw?
No, thank you.
I'm good
Mr.
too.
Johnson? Okay, thank you so much. We'll move into our fourth question. This one will begin with Mr. Johnson. The assistant chief becomes chief if the chief cannot serve. Are you prepared for that responsibility? And what have you done to make sure you are ready if it becomes necessary?
Number one, I wouldn't have taken this role if I wasn't ready. I understood that when I accepted candidacy, because unfortunately we know that it's only a heartbeat away from reality. We never want that, but we know that that could be a possibility. And it wasn't without a lot of prayer and sincere thought going into it, because if you're not a leader that could take on that responsibility, you shouldn't be standing up here. And setting in as on the executive team for 4 years, I've seen the stress and the obligations that the chief had put in and the assistant chief would put in. And I know the pressures that go on that day-to-day operation. And it's important that that carries through. I also have visited with the assistant chiefs, and that role may be 100 days during the 4 years. It may be a year and a half that they put in when the assistant chief has to step in as the chief. So even if it's not for a long period of time, it would be for a day or 2 days. So we know that we are going to be in the role as chief. So we know that we have to take that responsibility. I vow to take that responsibility on, and I feel like I will be prepared for that role without any question. Thank you.
Mr. Shaw, same question.
As I said earlier, I worked here for the 31st Council. I was here when we put together and implemented the Constitution that we are currently working under. I've been in gaming. Gaming is the number one source, revenue source that we have for our nation. I've been in gaming for the last 20 years. I've been there longer than most other people that are in our company. I have an understanding of that gaming. I have an understanding of how important it is to our Osage nation, how important it is to have good leadership in all the areas. I've been a general manager of our casinos for the last 16 years. I've been in management for over 35 years in different areas. So yes, I'm very involved culturally. I teach our language classes. I teach a lot of our cultural classes. So I feel as if, yes, I have the understanding of what it takes to be a leader and a role model within the Osage Nation, if that was to happen. That was not my goal when I stepped in to run for assistant chief, but I did have that understanding that that could possibly happen. And yes, I have that camaraderie with a lot of you that are sitting out here today, a lot of people that live in California and live in different areas, different states that are Osage tribal members. And I have that ability to communicate with all of you. So yes, I do feel as if I could take that role on if needed, and I could handle it in a very good way. Thank you.
Mr. Johnson, 1 minute rebuttal.
I'm not so much on the rebuttal, but I too have the leadership I've been in HR for a lot of years. My farming, I've been in business, independent business. I'm also the chairman of the Osage LLC. I know what the leadership is all about as well, and we need to make sure that all of that is brought in, and leaders are leaders. And we need to make sure that we have leaders that are steady and that are for the people. And that's what we need to be. Thank you.
Mr. Shaw?
I forgot to mention also, which I think is very important, that we have to have an understanding and an ability to communicate with other governments, state governments, county governments, city governments. I have been on I'm currently on the Woodland School Board. I also have sat on different and worked with different government entities throughout my life. I also think that there's going to come a point that we are going to have to work with all tribes in Oklahoma, different tribes, to come together to fight some of the things that we're fighting today. And I feel as if I have a huge strength in that area. Thank you.
Moving on to our fifth question, we will begin with Mr. Shaw. What do you see as the most important factors in protecting and strengthening the Osage Nation's sovereignty? And how would you support those efforts as Assistant Chief?
You said, could you repeat that again? Strengthening
Of course.
And protecting.
What do you see as the most important factors in protecting and strengthening the Osage Nation's sovereignty? And how would you support those efforts as Assistant Chief?
I had one of our very respected, highly respected elders reach out to me several weeks ago. And his number one topic was sovereignty. And he talked to me about this. He said this: we are sovereign because we are different. That is important for us to remember. We are different in how we communicate a lot of times as Native Americans or as Osage people, how we operate our day-to-day business. We are different on how we look at being families. We are different in our culture and the different things that we do. And he's the one, he told me, he said, I used to talk to your father about this a lot. There's going to come a day when we are going to have to protect and fight to keep our sovereignty. We're already seeing that in the state of Oklahoma. And he said, the reason I'm going to support you is because you understand culture, you understand our language, you understand who we are and where we came from. There's a word that we use in our language. We talk about wahoy. And that wahoy kind of makes us who we are and what we do. And he said, you understand that, and that is why I am going to support you, because when that day comes, he said, because it's going to come, I feel very strongly that you will have the ability to communicate and prove to people why we are different and why we are sovereign. And I will do anything, whatever it is, to support that and to protect our sovereignty. To answer your question about how I would support that as Assistant Chief. Whatever we've got to do, but we need to be prepared and be ready for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, same question.
So sovereignty, we are going to be in the battle. And the same gentleman that talked to me about land and why we needed to protect and buy more land also informed me that we needed to make sure that we had warriors in place to fight that battle for us. And he gave me 5 different individuals that have fought our battles for us through the years. And he said, if they're not here, we need to make sure that we have those warriors and other warriors that will go to Washington, D.C., will go to the places in Oklahoma City and fight those battles for us. You go. The chief goes, but we need to make sure that we have the warriors that will fight for us and go. Because we can't do this by ourselves. We have to have the lawyers that know what we need to do to fight this battle. And he was very clear on that, because this is a battle that cannot be won by sitting here in the Osage. It's going to be a battle that's going to be fought in D.C. It's going to be fought in Oklahoma City. It's going to be fought in the school boards. It's going to be fought at the county courthouses. And we need those warriors that are going to be there for us. And we need to make sure that we have those people in place that can do that for us. And we need to be able to identify them and work with them. And that's what we need to make sure that we have in place, to make sure that we carry that on forward as we go through. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Shaw, your rebuttal?
And I don't disagree with Mr. Johnson at all. We need to have people in place, but we need to have that prepared and ready to go before it happens. It's happening now. So we need to immediately start addressing when this comes around, what are we going to do? You have to have an understanding of where we came from as Osage people. You have to have an understanding of how we got to where we are today. You have to have an understanding of the things that we lost when we came from Missouri and Kansas down into here. You have to have an understanding of those things to truly fight for what is ours. Thank you.
Mr. Johnson?
There's cases right now that we should be fighting. And whoever is sitting in these seats come July, we have to start fighting day one. And we're going to continue to fight. And there's going to be more cases behind this case. And every day we hear more and more attacks, and we have to be ready for them. And we have to make sure that we are ready. I agree with John. We have to be ready for them. We have to know the people that are going to fight those battles. We have to join in with them. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Our sixth question will begin with Mr. Johnson. When serving in a tie-breaking role, how would you approach your vote, particularly if your view differs from that of the chief?
What was the first part? I'm sorry.
When serving in a tie-breaking role, how would you approach your vote, particularly if your view differs from that of the chief?
I told him, I said, I'm glad you're going first on this.
Well, I would hope that the speaker would call a recess about that time. What they did happened. That's what happened on the what was the first or second day of Congress this time, when a tie had to be broken on the amendment to the main motion. This the first week of Congress. And I seen the assistant chief get on the phone, and I assumed that he was talking to the chief, and to see how that came out. And then after the break, at least from on YouTube, it seemed that's what happened. And they must have had a nice discussion on the phone, and then tie break was made. So I still think that you have to have that discussion on the phone, because you're not going to be able to do that any other way at that time if it's something, because I never thought, I have to admit, I didn't think that a tie break would be on an amendment to a main motion. And that was the very first thing that happened this year. And I thought it would be something that would be discussed before you ever went down there, but it wasn't. And that kind of took me by surprise. And so I've been thinking about that. So there's not a lot of discussion that's going to happen in the chambers. It had to be taken really quickly. So I assume that phone call was made. I'm not even sure about that. I didn't ask the assistant chief, but decision was made, the vote was taken, and so I don't know.
Thank you. Mr. Shaw, same question.
Again, this goes back to communication. This goes back to teamwork. I would say I would feel very strongly that myself and the chief would be prepared going into these meetings, discussing all the issues, discussing the things that are going to go through or they're going to be voted on and talked about the next day or in a couple of days or whatever that is. And we have a plan together. We have a plan on how we want, what we think we want to see come out of these. And then I would be prepared to make any decision that would need to be made on behalf of myself, on behalf of the chief. So that's how I would handle these, as far as I'm not going to go down there with my own thoughts in mind. This is going to have to be a team effort. Yes, again, there are going to come times that myself and the chief aren't going to agree on things. But when I walk down and when I leave that office, there's going to be a decision that we have made together on how we're going to handle these situations. Thank you.
Mr. Johnson, 1 minute rebuttal.
I think that on the main questions, I think that we will be on the same team. But on amendment is a little different, I think. But I believe that the communication has to be there. I think that the main issues are there, and the communication will follow up. But I really believe that close connection, making that phone call, being available, is going to be crucial. And I look forward to making those decisions together.
Mr. Shaw?
I don't have anything. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll begin our 7th and final question with Mr. Shaw. As a member of the executive branch, you will share responsibility for the nation's economic strategy. What is your vision for economic development, and what specific contribution will you make to that effort?
First of all, yes, we would have to come together as Congress, Chief's office, different ones, on what we want to do, what is best for the nation, not what is best for one group, not what is best for one area, and this one area doesn't want to do something that the other area does. I've been seeing this for the last 24 years. We've got to come together. We've got to sit down, put together a plan where we're all at the table discussing what is best for the Osage Nation. So as far as right now, I feel as if we have a lot of things that we have got to get a hold of and get an understanding of what is the goal. What are we trying to do? Because the decisions we are making are going to affect our future. And I think we have a lot of things that are kind of up in the air. I read the Osage News and I listen to different meetings, and there's a lot of things where no one quite knows what the plan is. We've got to have a plan. And it just seems like right now there are a lot of things out there that there is no plan. And we have got to come together and grab all of those things, bring them together, and as a team decide, what is our plan? What are we going to do? What was the intention, and where are we at now? So for right now, that is the number one thing we have got to address, I feel as if. Thank you.
Mr. Johnson, same question.
I feel that we need to really consider everything that's on the table, because economic development is an opportunity that we all need to look at. And I mean, we have revenue streams within the nation that we need to look at and see if we can develop. I'm not talking about changing programs, but what about the programs that can be financially independent, that can produce an economy, an economic development that can help produce money, that can extend their programs and bring more money in so that it can relieve revenue from that. I don't know exactly what that is at this point, but we need to expand on that and to see what's going on. The Osage LLC has 5 different companies. We need to expand on those. We're at the verge right now of having a broadband and bringing internet all the way through to the Osage Nation. We need one broadband company. We are almost there. If everybody uses their broadband, our Osage broadband from all of our citizens, for our casinos, all of the nation, everyone uses it, we're going to have a good revenue stream. If the cattle ranch is doing good, if we have our ones, if we bring the ones and bring it back to the Osage Nation, we have a revenue stream on it. We have a lot of opportunities that we can do right now, that we have the butcher house, we have harvest land. We need to see what we can do. We look at those and see if there's revenue streams that can be advanced. Find out where the bottlenecks are and see if they can bring us revenue and see what is out there. And I think that we can do those. Thank you.
Mr. Shaw, 1 minute rebuttal.
I just want to kind of go along with what Mr. Johnson says. We have a lot of things out there. He named off a lot of those. But what I am seeing is that each one of those are their own entity and they're doing their own thing. And we're not coming together to try to get, for no better way of putting it, the best bang for our buck for our Osage Nation. And yes, those things are out there, and we do need to see what are the intentions and how we can grow and get better. But that's not going to happen until we come together as one. Thank you.
Mr. Johnson, 1 minute rebuttal.
I agree with John 100%. We have to come together and utilize ourselves, what we have, and then we can become whole as one nation, and that's what we need to do. And I look forward to those times when we do that. Thank you.
We will now move to closing statements. Each of you will have 1 minute. We will begin with Mr. Johnson.
The assistant chief role is not a position, it's a responsibility. As assistant chief, I want to strengthen our communications. And I want to be that voice of the solid voice for the people. I spent 4 years working with each of our departments, working side by side in our departments in all 3 branches of our government. So I understand that. I want to focus on being that leader. I want to stay grounded. I want to make sure that we protect what matters to our people, what we strengthen, what we have, and build something for our future, for our veterans, for our elders, and for our future. I ask for your vote. I'm Scott Johnson. I want your vote. I ask you for that. I hope to be your next assistant chief. Thank you.
Mr. Shaw, your closing statement.
Everything we've talked about today, probably most of everything that they talked about yesterday, the things that you'll hear later this afternoon and in the future. I'm going to share a story with you, and this all rolls up into one. There's a song that we sing a lot of times out underneath our arbors, and in this song it says, Jide no jinga. And it goes on to say, Inda de gacha. That Jide no jinga talks about us as a group of people coming together, standing up as one. Like when you see us all dance together, we come together as one and we go around together. Then we go back and we sit down, then we come back and we go around together. And in that second part it says, Indadi gacha. That says that only God can make it that way. And we need to remember this. And until we come together as one, we're going to fail, and we're not going to do as well as we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good job.
Yes, well, thank you to both of our candidates. We will take a short break at this time, and we will return shortly for the chief candidate debate. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm the moderator, and I'll actually call you guys up here. Or would you rather just be up here?
Either way, I was thinking about maybe trying to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, no, I'll call you up here when it's time. So
Okay,
you don't have
that
to.
sounds good.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. All right.
And I don't know better, but as far as I came, it felt like Veto. Seconds turn to hours, days turn to months, and the year passed by, but don't feel like much. So if I got one chance, motherfucker, I'ma make y'all dance. I'ma have as much fun as I can, and figure out the rest when I add y'all to plan. Tonight is the night, is the night that we're losing control. Tonight is the night, is the night we set it off. Everybody go. Everybody go. I'm feeling better than I ever thought possible, but now I know. Yeah. I'm feeling better than I ever did. Don't exist. No. Impossible don't exist. Everybody go. Everybody go. Tonight is the night, that we're losing control. Tonight is the night, we set it I pray the stars will shoot her all the wishes she can hold. On the day that I return, I aim to live down, but right now I'm focused on the universal sound. I think about tobacco juice and mason jars of shine. I think about the vices I've let take me over time. I recall when I was a baby, I didn't need nothing around but a little bitty rattler and the universal sound. I close my eyes. It was all so clear. It was all right then. It was all right here.
will come next.
It's been a while since I sinned just like this, and I know when I drank, it's hard for it to end. Yeah, I'm bad again. So don't stick around for too long, 'cause I'll tear you down and lead you on. And it's been a while since we've been out, but a change in a
Each candidate will have 2 minutes for an opening statement and 1 minute each for a closing statement. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer each question and 1 minute for rebuttal. The candidate's name, who is first in alphabetical order, will answer the first question and then so on. The timer, Trista Vaughn, will warn candidates when they have 30 seconds left and will stop a candidate when the time is up. The host moderator will make sure that each candidate takes their turn in answering the question and will also make sure all candidates have a chance for their 1 minute rebuttal. The moderator also reserves the right to shorten answer periods for the sake of time. Candidates may choose to pass on their rebuttal. Candidates will be offered time for rebuttals in the same order in which they answered the question. All answers will remain civil, and candidates will refrain from personal attacks. The moderator reserves the right to disqualify any candidate who cannot adhere to this rule from further debate. We will begin, as I said, in alphabetical order by last name, starting with Congressman Scott Bighorse for opening statements and continue from there. Whenever you are ready, Congressman, please begin.
Thank you, and I want to start off again by thanking the Osage News, their board, and all their employees, and our election office. We had some new rules that were put in place, and it's caused some confusion, but it's going to be really transparent. So I'm glad about that. I live here in the Pawhuska village. I have 3 brothers. I'm a grandfather. I'm a great-grandfather. So what I'm doing today is for my grandchildren, what's going to be in the future for them. We want to leave them, a good land base, and we want to leave them with our sovereignty intact, the way that we was taught and the way we were brought up. So those are that, and another stream of revenue is one of my big issues. So thank you.
Thank you. Your opening statement, Congressman Tillman.
Well, first of all, I'd like to start off by thanking Almighty God. I'd like to thank my family, my wife of 23 years. My daughter couldn't be here because she's asleep. She just got off her night shift. Thank my brother for being here. My name is Joe Tillman, and I'm running for Principal Chief of the Osage Nation. My background school, I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in communications from Oklahoma State University with an emphasis in organizational communication. Leadership is a key thing when you run for chief. I have been influenced, and the definition of leadership is different to different people, but I had some mentors. I'll start off with my grandmother, Josephine Good Tillman. She raised me from the 5th grade till I graduated high school. Great leader. My grandfather, Frank Mahan, who was a Oklahoma senator for many, many years. Great leadership qualities, great leadership abilities. My father, Charles Tillman, who was Principal Chief of the Osage Nation for 12 years. I've been mentored by Larry Coker, who's in the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, Sports Hall of Fame, and I've also been mentored by Jimmy Johnson, who was my football coach in college, who is also in the NFL Hall of Fame. My obligation as chief is to defend our Constitution and our treaties, hold our employees to a very high standard, but reward them and take care of them. Get our language to a level that it's never been before, and we're going in that direction. Take care of the elders, our special needs children, our youth, and our health and our wellness. We have an opportunity to prosper like we have never had before through economic development, and I embrace that challenge as your Principal Chief. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now move into questions. Our first question will go to Congressman Tillman. With the potential for federal budget cuts, how would you prepare the Osage Nation to remain financially stable and self-reliant?
Federal budget cuts have always been a very hot, interesting topic. We as a nation have been very blessed with our gaming dollars that we have. We had the influence of $180 million that came down from CARES Act and ARPA funds to create new facilities, new builds, new programs. And to sustain those, it's going to take quite an effort. But with the budget cuts that come from the federal government, not only does it affect the Osage Nation and our Osage people and our Osage citizens, we have to be more creative and we have to be more financially stable and be able to cut back when we need to cut back. But also, economic development plays such a key role, and we have not done a good job, as you all know. So that has to be a priority, to be able to come up with ways to put more money into our coffers, and that's through relationships and development. So thank you.
Congressman Big Horse, same question.
Repeat it, please.
Yes, sir. With the potential for federal budget cuts, how would you prepare the Osage Nation to remain financially stable and self-reliant?
Continuing to work with our casinos, that's a good solid stream of revenue. I'm looking for that second stream of revenue that's going to be near or close to what the casinos are bringing in, because our future children that are coming up, they're going to need that, because this world, as we all know in this room, it's getting more and more expensive. That's why I was kind of looking at these little tiny homes and wanting to build homes that are affordable for our youngsters, those that are off to college. When they come back, there's no place for them to live. A lot of them end up in their homes with their parents while they're waiting and looking for some place. So that's a big priority for me. And then we have a lot of people that are indigent. They're homeless. And I hope to God that we don't have any Osages that are walking around out there that don't have a roof over their head at nighttime. So those are things that touch me near and dear to my heart, and things that I would like to work on. Thank you.
Congressman Tillman, 1 minute rebuttal.
I'm fine, thank you.
Congressman Big Horse, 1 minute rebuttal.
I'm good.
Our second question will go first to Congressman Big Horse. What are your plans? What are your plans for developing a permanent and functional facility for culture, language, and historic preservation programs within the Osage Nation?
There's a lot of different ideas out there for this. Mine is to build a building down kind of behind the museum. In that general area, there's enough room, and build a skywalk that connects that cultural building to our museum. Because we don't want to take the things out of our museum, but what the museum is holding and they can't display, it can be held in the new cultural building, which would be housing culture and language and anything that has to do with our tribal culture.
Congressman Tillman, same question.
Thank you. And yes, our cultural people, language, have been begging for a facility for years. You go up there now and ask somebody, say, where's your cultural facilities? I can't tell you. It's hard. Where are they? They've been out to the Civic Center. They've been down to the language building, which is no longer there. Some of them are displaced out here at the Tri-County. We're all over the board. But there is a plan, I believe that at the tune of $40 million to build a cultural center. And if we can do it the right way, it can also be an economic development factor to draw people in to look and see what we do as Osage people in our culture, interactive exhibits, keep our archives there, have things that they can do, restaurants, gift shops, those kinds of things, promote the language. But those are the things that I envision. Is it $40 million? I'm not sure. But look at some of the other tribal nations, the leaders, that what they do, the Chickasaw Nation, the Cherokee Nation, and what they do and what they have as their cultural facilities. We need to get to that level. Thank you.
Optional 1-minute rebuttal. Congressman Big Horse.
Not really a rebuttal. Congressman Tillman's right. We're looking at plans right now that the cost is around $37 million. So that's kind of pushed it back just a little bit. It's not that we're not focusing on it and it's at the forefront, because it is. We all sit around and talk about it every time we get together. And so that's something that is near and dear to my heart, and something that I want to see accomplished, at least in this next 4 years. Thank you.
Congressman Tillman. All right, we'll move to our third question, which will go first to Congressman Tillman. The long one. So the Minerals Council operates independently, but its decisions about the estate affect the entire nation. How do you envision the relationship between the Chief's office and the OMC, and how would you approach coordination on issues that cross both institutions?
This is me, right? Yes. Okay. Well, you're going to have a heck of a debate in here on Sunday that's going to address a lot of that as well. 27 members, candidates for Minerals Council. But no, I see, it's always a cooperation between the leadership. And when our Minerals Council gets together and they have something that they need to go to Washington, D.C. or go to the state capitol, the chief of the nation needs to go with them. And they need to be unified. They need to be together. They need to be on the same page. And when that chairman of the Minerals Council speaks to a senator, a congressional member, anybody in D.C., that chief needs to be with that minerals chairman saying, I agree with everything this person just said. That's unification, and that's a really good look when it comes to leaders at the federal level, to see us that we are unified, we are together. So strengthening the Minerals Council, we're having 8 potential new members, and they'll have to get adjusted, and they'll have to learn all the policies, all the procedures, but working together with the Osage Nation, I will support the good efforts that I see within the Minerals Council. Thank you.
Congressman Big Horse, same question.
My plan would be to have a person in my office that would be a liaison between my office and the minerals. That way that person would be sitting in the meetings while they're actually being conducted. And when those meetings are over, that information would be brought back to the chief's office. And then the chief can gather the assistant chief and his closest staff and talk about it and come up with the best decision on what needs to be done, along with the Minerals Council. That's something that I do very well, is work good with the people that are sitting on the Minerals Council. So, thank you.
Congressman Tillman, 1-minute rebuttal.
Yeah, as principal chief, I'm going to make as many meetings, Minerals Council meetings, as possible. I think it's important for the chief to be there. It's okay to have a liaison go over there, but then you're getting secondhand news. You're getting bits and pieces. I want to hear myself. I want them to know that my presence is in this building, and we're going to have good discussions, and I'm here to listen to what you all have to say. Thank you.
Congressman Bighorse.
Fine.
This next question will begin with Congressman Bighorse. How do you see the Osage Nation's relationship with the state of Oklahoma? And where do you see opportunity or risk in that relationship that a chief needs to be actively managing?
Being a state representative, I got to see how tribes interact with the governor's office and the state legislators. Matter of fact, our Minerals Council, when I was a state representative, they were wanting to know where our gross production tax was going, because we pay gross production tax on all of our oil. That money goes to Oklahoma City. A certain percent of it's supposed to come back here for roads and schools. And the Minerals Council at that time did not know where the money was. They called the tax commission. They couldn't get any answers. So I set up a meeting with the Lieutenant Governor, Jerry Askins, Department of Commerce, Susan Savage, and our Native American caucus from the House of Representatives. And we came in and met with that tax director, and it took 3 meetings before we finally got an answer to where our money was being delivered. And it was going out of county to Sperry schools. Wasn't coming to our schools here on the reservation. So
Congressman Tillman, same question. Yes, sir. How do you see the Osage Nation's relationship with the state of Oklahoma, and where do you see opportunity or risk in that relationship that a chief needs to be actively managing?
You know, we've got Governor Kevin Stitt, who will be leaving office in November, and it looks like the polls are now favoring Gettner Drummond. So we're going to have to learn to work with the new governor. If it is Gettner Drummond, we're going to have to learn to work with him. He's going to have to learn to work with us as well, as Osage people. We have issues at the state level where they say our reservation is disestablished. I disagree with that. It takes a United States Act of Congress to disestablish our reservation. That's the status they see us down at the state capitol, and they're wrong. I see your water rights. Our water rights is so important here at the Osage Nation, and that starts down at the state capitol. So we will have a presence. We will show up in force, and we will ask the right questions, but we will be there constantly until they're sick of seeing us, and they'll have to answer us. And we'll have the questions, and we'll have to get the answers. Thank you.
Congressman Bighorse, your 1-minute rebuttal.
the chief, he's going to be spread thin, because he's going to be making a lot of trips to Washington, D.C. But I agree, he needs to be down there at the state capitol also. But there's going to be a time and a place for that, because his role is to meet with that governor and talk to that governor. And that governor is going to tell all the people down below him what they're going to do. Same with our chief. Our chief's going to carry the message back from the governor and give it to our attorneys so that we have something to base our argument on, or whatever the issue is.
Congressman Tillman.
The thing about the state of Oklahoma, I'm okay with lobbyists. lobbyists knocking on the governor's door, not lobbyists knocking on senators' doors, but they're representing us. Who's at my door? Oh, it's lobbyists from the Osage Nation, for the Osage people. Who's at my door? You got the chief of the Osage Nation out there. He wants to see you. It makes a big, big difference. And whatever it takes, the energy that we have to have, we will be there. Thank you.
Thank you. For our fifth question, we'll begin with Congressman Tillman. How will you manage the Osage Nation's relationships with federal agencies, including the BIA, IHS, and EPA? And what will you do when those agencies fail to meet their trust responsibilities to the Osage people?
I think I answered a lot of that a while ago with the previous question, but it takes a presence in Washington, D.C. If we get disappointed with their responses to our needs and what we have, it's just consistency that will have to be there, developing and building relationships in the nation's capital. The BIA, they want to get rid of us. They want to get out of the Indian business. That's their trust responsibility to take care of us. It's good communication. It always is. And who are those people that we're talking to? And I'm tired of being last. I'm tired of wanting some land put into trust, and it takes us 3 years, and it takes Chickasaw Nation 3 months. I'm tired of that. We have to develop those relationships, and we have to do that quickly. We have to hold them accountable because they owe it to us. Thank you.
Congressman Big Horse, same question.
During my tenure as assistant chief, I was kind of the face of the nation for these turbines, fighting these turbines out here. And during my tenure as assistant chief, I was constantly going to Washington, D.C. and throughout the nation, wherever U.S. Fish and Wildlife was meeting with that company, NL, that put those windmills up. Wherever they were meeting at, I was going to listen, and usually there were tribes in there. And I was telling those tribes, you know, the damages that the wind farms could bring. So I had one meeting, Wilson Pipestem was our attorney at that time, and I gathered 5 of Obama's cabinet members on the inside of the Pentagon. And when we walked out of that meeting, Wilson Pipestem looked at me and he said, "I've never been so far into that Pentagon." We were in there where you could stand at the glass and see the grass and the trees out in the center. So it's all about having a knack of being able to communicate with those that you're going to have to negotiate with. And you've got to set a good presence, not an angry one or not a mean one, but one that's going to be compromising. And I found that going in with a compromising attitude kind of loosens the bureaucratic people up. So that's something that I have learned over the years, you know, working with older legislators and older political leaders.
Thank you. Congressman Tillman, 1 minute rebuttal.
Well, just real quick on those wind farms. I'm looking in hindsight, but I probably would have handled that differently, because when they dig so far down into the dirt, they're in our minerals estate. And I would have called Nick Williams. I would have called every officer and went out there and stopped it as soon as we saw how deep they were digging. Those surface owners are just as guilty. They were just as guilty because they see the big dollars in the paychecks. But that's what should have happened. It didn't happen, and they're still out there spinning. And they're going to continue to spin. Their life expectancy, I think they have 7 years left. That's what I would have done. Thank you.
Congressman Big Horse, 1 minute rebuttal.
When I was assistant chief, We all know what happened. I was forced into the chief's seat, but I was prepared. And we made some big decisions there in that last 6, 7, 8 months. That's all I have.
Thank you. Our sixth question will begin with Congressman Bighorse. Under what circumstances, if any, would you use your veto power? And how would you communicate that decision to citizens and to Congress?
I feel like I have a good rapport with Congress, and I think I can sit down with the Congress people and work through issues without it coming to that. Same thing with the Minerals Council. And one thing that we did accomplish as Congress members was we were able to pull minerals and the chief's office and our Congress together. Happened one time. And I agree, that needs to happen once a month at the very least. If there's something serious going on, then probably 2 or 3 times a week. Because we are under a lot of threat. Right now, they're going after our minerals estate, and they're claiming spore space down in our wells, and that's not right. So that's something that we're going to have to really focus on and fight on. And another thing is our water. We have got to hire that right attorney to come up here and help us quantify, because that's what it says in our treaties. You're allowed to have all the water that you need to take, that it takes for you to survive through business and through your communities. So that is a big one for me too, is hiring that attorney and getting those people, that team in here that it's going to take to figure out how much water that the Osage Nation owns.
Congressman Tillman, same question.
Repeat that question for me again.
Yes, sir. Under what circumstances, if any, would you use your veto power? And how would you communicate that decision to citizens and to Congress?
Good question. Thanks for that question. I've been sitting member of Congress for 10 years, and it's interesting, but my plan would be to, prepare. And when session starts, whether it's in the spring or whether it's in the fall, you see the list of bills. You have good communication with the speaker, the second speaker of Congress. You talk about, okay, I see this bill maybe 1 and maybe 2. If this passes, I'm going to really have to take a hard look at that and may have to veto that. Now, I've seen Chief Standing Bear veto bills because based on their constitutionality. There has to be that good rapport between the two branches that we see all the bills that are filed, and you have to have those conversations with the speaker and the second speaker. And it's amazing. It happens now. We sit down there in Congress, and Alice Goodfox, she'll say, if we pass this, Chief's going to veto it. I'm like, how do you know that? How do you know that? It's just communication. It's just good communication. So thank you for the question.
Congressman Bighorse, 1 minute rebuttal.
I've had the good fortune of working with our appropriations chair, and we have gone up and met with the treasurer, the chief, and one of the comptrollers, and a few of the chief's staff. And we were constantly working on keeping our budget, keeping track of our monies so that we know where we're exactly at. It's been, I've been on there for 8 years. And when I come in, it was every which way. And since then, we've got a couple of accountants that are in our body, and we have been meeting with like I said, with the treasurer and the chief's office, so that we know what's coming and we know what to prepare for.
Congressman Tillman, 1 minute rebuttal.
Fine.
All right. Our seventh and final question. We will begin with Congressman Tillman. How will you ensure that your administration avoids favoritism or the appearance of favoritism in hiring, contracts, and decision making?
Favoritism. Well, my position is, if you talk about nepotism, favoritism, that's what you got strong HR people for. You let those people do their job. You let those people function at the level that they need to function. As far as contracts go, I don't know about you all, but Builders Unlimited is building everything we've got over here. Everything. What's up? Okay? We have a procurement process that I feel is not being followed, and that needs to be investigated. It needs to be looked into. Our own treasurer made that comment to us. Everything has to be fair. We've got a Osage member that owns a construction company. He can't even get a bid. He can't, nothing. And it's unacceptable. But as far as employees go, we want the best, whether I'm related to them or not. I've got a small family. In fact, when I was working as a division leader for Chief Red Eagle, I had to fire one of my real close relatives, and it wasn't nice, it wasn't pretty, but we have to hold the standard. We have to hold the standard. And that's how we grow, and that's how we prosper. Thank you.
Congressman Big Horse, same question.
Question again?
Yes, sir. How will you ensure that your administration avoids favoritism or the appearance of favoritism in hiring, contracts, and decision making?
I would have to go back to my father. My father raised 4 sons. And when you're raising 4 boys, it's a chore. But he raised us with a heavy hand. And he always told us, right is right and wrong is wrong. So do what's right. So that's kind of the way that I have entered into politics and conducted myself, is the way that my parents did. They were both public figures. My mother was the former county clerk. My father sat on the Minerals Council for 12 years after serving in the land office for 36 years with the BIA. So we got to be around a lot of political issues and political things, and we learned a lot.
Congressman Tillman, 1 minute rebuttal.
Yes, and one of the things that I really want to engage with is my assistant chief, whoever it may be. But those people are going to be able to come in and understand when we look at employee positions, when we look at contracts, when we look at servicing our nation. I want that assistant chief. I'm going to hold that position in a high regard. They're going to be with me on the day-to-day decisions. They'll understand what we're looking at, what the focus is, what the scope of work is. So they will be highly involved with me, and they will know how to break a tie. Thank you.
Congressman Big Horse, your 1 minute rebuttal.
Being assistant chief, I know what it feels like. And that assistant chief, if I'm elected, the assistant chief will most certainly be by my side. He will do special trips some trips that I won't be able to make because I've got something else scheduled, maybe in Washington, D.C., or maybe down here at the governor's office. But we have many other things that are going on at the same time. And I want to work with my assistant chief because I know what it feels like to be kind of left out and not be a part of everything that's going on. That assistant chief he's been elected and he has a mind, he has thoughts. So utilize those thoughts. I'm all about having an open door policy, and any employee can come to my office and talk to me without having an appointment. That's something that.
Thank you. We will now move to 1-minute closing statements, and we will begin with Congressman Big Horse whenever you're ready.
As I said, my name's Scott Big Horse, and I was a former state representative and assistant chief for 4 years, and then 2 terms on Congress. The most experience that I gained was when I was a state legislator and become a part of the National Congress of State Legislators. That's legislators from all 50 states. And I got to sit on that Native American caucus. And we traveled all over putting hot spots out. But I got to be around a lot of tribal leaders, and I got to see how they function and how they operated. And, you know, when you're younger, you watch those older guys and hopefully you pick something up from them. And I did. I picked a lot up from them, and I appreciate them.
Thank you. Congressman Tillman, your closing statement.
Thank you, and thank you again, everybody that is here today. My first few days, 60 days in office, is going to be a discovery period for us. We're going to have to sit down and understand exactly where are we financially, where are we employment-wise, and I need to see transactions, I need to see expenditures, I need to see balances, because I don't know. We have a difficult time as Congress of getting information from our treasurer as we currently sit. That's got to come to a stop. I also want to let you know that this job is going to take a lot of energy, a lot of charisma, a lot of excitement. It's going to take commitment. It's going to take compassion. And I feel I have that. Now, I will represent you, the Osage people, well, whether it's the state capitol or whether it's in Washington, D.C. Develop solid intergovernmental relationships, deal with the many issues we have. And by God's mercy and his grace, we'll get there. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Please join me in thanking both of our candidates. We also have light refreshments available again this afternoon, so we invite you to stay, visit, and spend time together. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We hope to see you back here on April 19th for the Osage News Editorial Board Minerals Council candidate debates.